The calculated slight. The 42nd floor of Blackridge Capital hummed with the quiet intensity of wealth being managed. Olivia Mercer focused on her screen, running complex financial models that would likely save one of their high-profile clients millions. Her dark-rimmed glasses slid slightly down her nose as she leaned forward, completely absorbed in her work. "Olivia," a voice cut through her concentration, "Mr. Harrington wants to see you in the conference room." She looked up to see Darren, one of the junior associates, standing by her cubicle with an expression that suggested he knew something she didn't. Olivia saved her work, straightened her simple navy blazer, and walked toward the glass-walled room where her boss held court. Vincent Harrington sat at the head of the table, his tailored suit and carefully styled hair projecting the image of success he'd cultivated over years of climbing Blackridge's corporate ladder. Beside him, Natalie Pierce examined her manicure with practiced boredom. As the daughter of one of the firm's founding partners and Vincent's girlfriend of 2 years, Natalie's presence at business meetings was tolerated despite her lack of official position. Olivia, join us." Vincent gestured to an empty chair as several other executives exchanged glances. "We were just discussing the 10th anniversary gala," said Thomas Reed, head of client relations. "It's going to be the event of the season. The governor confirmed yesterday." "Wonderful," Olivia replied professionally, wondering why she'd been summoned for a conversation about a social event. Vincent leaned forward, a slight smile playing on his lips. "The thing is, Olivia, we've decided that all staff should attend this year. Even the analysts." Natalie's lips curled upward. "Vincent thinks it would be good for morale, though I'm not sure everyone will fit in." The implication hung in the air. For 3 years, Olivia had been the firm's most effective analyst, consistently outperforming her peers while being passed over for promotion. She dressed simply, spoke only when necessary, and focused on results rather than office politics. In Blackridge's culture of showing off, she was practically invisible. "The Westbrook Hotel, black tie next Saturday," Vincent continued. "I trust you can find something appropriate to wear." Several executives poorly concealed their amusement. Everyone knew that the starting salary for analysts barely covered rent in the city's better neighborhoods, let alone the designer wear that was standard at Blackridge events. "Of course," Olivia replied evenly. "Thank you for the invitation." "Not an invitation, Olivia," Natalie corrected with false sweetness. "More of a requirement. Attendance will be noted." Olivia met her gaze directly. "Then I'll certainly be there." As she turned to leave, Vincent called after her. "Oh, and Olivia, the Harrington Davies account needs the full analysis by tomorrow morning. I know you had plans to leave early today, but business comes first, doesn't it?" She nodded once, her face betraying nothing. "I'll have it on your desk by 8. Back at her desk, Olivia's hands trembled slightly as she opened the Harrington Davies file. The analysis would take all night, ensuring she'd have no time to prepare for the event they'd just thrust upon her. "It wasn't a coincidence, you okay?" whispered Jenna from the adjacent cubicle. "You look like you're about to murder someone with a spreadsheet." "I'm fine," Olivia replied automatically. "Liar," Jenna said, rolling her chair closer. "I heard about the gala thing. It's messed up. They're just trying to make you uncomfortable." "Well, they've succeeded," Olivia admitted quietly. "Maybe you should just call in sick that night." Olivia considered it for a moment before shaking her head. "That's exactly what they expect me to do." The rest of the day passed in a blur of numbers and client projections. By 9 p.m., Olivia was alone on the floor, the city lights spread out below her like a carpet of stars. Her phone buzzed with a text from her roommate. "Dinner and fridge. Don't work too late." It was nearly midnight when she finally entered her apartment, finding Priya Sharma still awake, grading papers at their small dining table. "You look terrible," Priya observed, pushing a plate of reheated curry toward her. "Eat." Olivia collapsed into a chair and recounted the day's events while picking at her food. Priya's eyes narrowed. "So they basically invited you to be their entertainment? To watch you squirm among all the rich people?" "That's about the size of it," Olivia confirmed. "And you're going?" "I have to. Vincent made it clear it's mandatory." Priya studied her friend thoughtfully. "Then go. But don't go as the Olivia they think they know." "What do you mean?" "I mean," Priya said, a slow smile spreading across her face, "that they have no idea who you really are." "Maybe it's time they found out." Olivia shook her head. "I don't want to play their games." It's not about their games. It's about refusing to be the person they've decided you are. Priya got up and rummaged through a drawer, returning with a business card. Remember my cousin who works in fashion? The one who owes you for fixing her tax nightmare last year? A faint smile crossed Olivia's face as she took the card. I was just doing my job. Well, now she can do hers. And there's something else. Priya hesitated. What? I saw the guest list for your fancy gala. Perks of working at the city newspaper. She slid her tablet across the table. Look who's attending. Olivia scrolled through the names, stopping suddenly. Julian Moretti is coming to the Blackridge Gala. The very same. International finance wizard, philanthropist, and, if I recall correctly, the man whose foundation you helped restructure before joining Blackridge. For the first time that day, Olivia felt a genuine smile forming. Vincent has been trying to get Moretti as a client for years, and he has no idea you worked with him?
No, Olivia said, a new resolve strengthening her voice.
Vincent never bothered to read my full resume. He just saw a woman with finance degree and put me in analyst purgatory. So, Priya said, taking back her tablet with a mischievous grin, what are you going to wear to your coming out party? Olivia's mind was already racing ahead, past the humiliation of the day to the possibilities of Saturday night. Something memorable, she replied. Definitely something memorable. In his penthouse across town, Vincent Harrington swirled expensive scotch in a crystal glass while Natalie lounged on his sofa. Do you think she'll actually show up? Natalie asked. Vincent chuckled. Probably not. But if she does, it'll be amusing to watch her try to mingle with actual society. Why do you keep her around anyway? She barely speaks. Because she's brilliant with numbers, he admitted. Clients love her work even if they don't know she's the one behind it. Well, Natalie said, raising her glass in a mock toast. Here's to Saturday night. One way or another, I think it's going to be quite revealing. Vincent nodded, unaware of just how prophetic those words would prove to be. The unexpected revelation, the Westbrook Hotel's grand ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and the polished veneer of wealth. Members of Blackridge Capital's elite circulated through the room, exchanging practiced pleasantries and strategic laughter. Vincent Harrington stood near the main entrance, occasionally checking his watch. Julian Moretti just arrived, Thomas Reed informed him, adjusting his bow tie nervously. He's speaking with the CEO now. Vincent nodded. Perfect. I'll introduce myself after dinner. The Moretti portfolio would transform our quarterly numbers. Natalie appeared at his side in a dazzling silver gown that had cost more than most people's monthly rent. Is your little analyst coming after all? She asked with feigned innocence. It's already 45 minutes past the start time. Apparently not, Vincent replied, a mixture of relief and disappointment in his voice. Part of him had been looking forward to watching Olivia fumble through high society. Probably for the best. She would have been... The sentence died on his lips as a subtle shift rippled through the crowd near the entrance. Conversations paused, heads turned, and a path seemed to clear naturally as someone new entered the ballroom. Olivia Mercer stood framed in the doorway, utterly transformed. Gone were the simple suits and practical shoes. Instead, she wore a midnight blue gown that flowed like water, accentuating a figure that her work clothes had always concealed. Her hair, usually pulled back in a practical bun, now fell in soft waves around her shoulders. But most striking was her demeanor. She held herself with quiet confidence, surveying the room as if she belonged there more than anyone else. My God, Thomas whispered. Is that impossible? Natalie hissed, her knuckles whitening around her champagne flute. Vincent stared, momentarily speechless. This poised woman bore little resemblance to the quiet analyst who occupied the corner cubicle on the 42nd floor. Olivia began to move through the room, her steps measured and graceful. She greeted several people with warm smiles, exchanging words that made them laugh or nod appreciatively. It was as if she had attended such functions all her life. Who was she talking to? Natalie demanded, squinting across the room. Judge Ellsworth and his wife, Vincent replied automatically, his confusion growing. Judge Ellsworth rarely spoke to anyone below partner level at these events. How does she even know them? Vincent had no answer. He watched as Olivia moved from one influential group to another, seemingly at ease with people he had spent years trying to impress. Mr. Harrington, a voice interrupted his thoughts. He turned to find Julian Moretti himself standing before him, a glass of sparkling water in hand. The new dynamic Monday morning arrived with the strange stillness that follows a significant shift. Olivia entered Blackridge Capital at her usual time, dressed in her typical professional attire, her hair once again pulled back neatly. If not for the whispers that followed her through the lobby, one might have thought Saturday night had never happened. She had just settled at her desk when Jenna rolled her chair over, eyes wide with excitement. "You're officially a legend," Jenna whispered. "Everyone's talking about how you showed up at the gala and dazzled Julian Moretti. Is it true he offered you a job on the spot?" Olivia smiled slightly. "Not quite on the spot, but yes, we discussed possibilities. And? Are you taking it?" Before Olivia could answer, the elevator doors opened, and Vincent Harrington strode onto the floor. Unlike his usual confident swagger, his movements seemed more measured today. He nodded to several employees before stopping at Olivia's cubicle. "Ms. Mercer," he said formally, "would you join me in my office, please?" The entire floor watched as Olivia gathered her tablet and followed Vincent. His corner office offered sweeping views of the city, the morning light casting long shadows across his immaculate desk. "Please, sit." He gestured to a chair opposite him. Olivia sat, her posture straight, expression neutral. She had expected this conversation, but wasn't certain which version of Vincent she would be dealing with. The dismissive boss or the chastened social climber. "I owe you an apology," he began, surprising her. "Several, actually." She waited, saying nothing. "I've spent the weekend reviewing your personnel file and speaking with several clients who specifically requested your work." He paused. "Work I've frequently presented as coming from the broader team." "I'm aware," Olivia replied evenly. Vincent had the grace to look uncomfortable. "Right, of course you are." He leaned forward. "Olivia, Ms. Mercer, I've made assumptions about you that were not only incorrect but fundamentally unfair. I failed to recognize your contributions and deliberately excluded you from opportunities you deserved. May I ask what prompted this sudden insight?" Though she already knew the answer. "Saturday night made it impossible to ignore what I should have seen long ago," Vincent admitted. "But it shouldn't have taken Julian Moretti's approval for me to recognize your value to this firm." Olivia studied him, trying to gauge his sincerity. "What exactly are you proposing, Mr. Harrington?" "Robert Blackridge has authorized me to offer you a director position heading our new emerging markets division," Vincent said. "Complete autonomy, your own team, and a compensation package reflecting your expertise." "Interesting," Olivia said carefully. "And if Julian Moretti hadn't shown interest in recruiting me?" Vincent flinched slightly at the directness of the question. "I'd like to say this would have happened anyway, but we both know that's not true." His honesty was unexpected. "I can't change how I've treated you in the past, but I can offer you the opportunity you deserve now." "And Natalie? The other partners? Will they suddenly respect my contributions as well?" "Natalie and I are reassessing our relationship," Vincent said carefully. "As for the partners, Robert made it very clear at yesterday's emergency board meeting that your treatment has been unacceptable. There will be changes." Olivia allowed herself a small smile. "I see. You haven't said yes," Vincent noted. "Because I haven't decided yet," she replied. "Moretti's offer is quite compelling." Vincent nodded, accepting this. "Whatever you decide, I hope you'll give me, the chance to make things right." "I appreciate the offer," Olivia said, rising from her chair. "I'll let you know my decision by the end of the week." As she turned to leave, Vincent called after her. "One question, if I may. Why did you stay? These past 3 years knowing you were being undervalued. Why not leave?" Olivia paused at the door. "Because I still had things to learn here. Not just about finance, but about people, about the difference between power and influence." She met his gaze directly. "And because sometimes the best way to change a system is from within." Throughout the week, Olivia found herself at the center of a subtle but unmistakable shift in the office dynamics. Senior partners who had previously ignored her now sought her input. Her cubicle was upgraded to an actual office. Invitations to client meetings appeared on her calendar. Natalie was conspicuously absent, though rumors circulated that she had been seen clearing her personal items from Vincent's penthouse over the weekend. On Thursday afternoon, Olivia's phone buzzed with a message from Priya. "Decision made yet? Moretti or Blackridge?" She was still contemplating her reply when there was a knock at her new office door. Vincent stood there, less imposing than he had seemed just a week ago. "Do you have a moment?" he asked. Olivia gestured to the chair across from her desk, a reversal of their usual positions that wasn't lost on either of them. "I wanted to let you know that I've withdrawn from consideration for the CFO position," Vincent said without preamble. Olivia's surprise must have shown on her face. "I recommended you instead," he continued. "You're more qualified, and after this week it's clear the team responds better to your leadership style." "That's unexpected," Olivia admitted, "is it?" Vincent gave a rueful smile. "You've accomplished more in 4 days than I managed in months of posturing. The emerging market strategy you outlined yesterday impressed everyone, including Robert. Thank you for the recommendation, but why tell me this now? The board hasn't made a decision yet." Vincent leaned forward. "Because I wanted you to know before you decided about Moretti's offer. This isn't just about keeping you at Blackridge anymore. It's about recognizing where the future of this company should be heading." Olivia studied him thoughtfully. "You've changed, Mr. Harrington." "Vincent, please." He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture she'd never seen from him before. "And yes, having your entire worldview upended tends to change a person. You showed me what real competence looks like when it's not wrapped in arrogance or privilege. And if I stay?" "What then?" "Then we rebuild this department the right way," he said simply. "You lead, I support. No games, no politics, just the work and the results." Olivia was silent for a long moment, weighing her options. Finally, she reached for her phone and typed a quick message before looking up at Vincent again. "I just declined Moretti's offer," she said. "He's disappointed but not surprised." Relief washed over Vincent's face. "You're staying." "I'm staying," she confirmed. "But on my terms. No more invisible work, no more taking credit for others' efforts, and we implement my full diversity initiative for hiring." "Agreed," Vincent said immediately. "Anything else?" Olivia smiled, a genuine expression that transformed her usually serious features. "Yes. You can start by telling me about the Henderson portfolio. I have some ideas for restructuring their European investments." As they began discussing the details, Olivia felt a sense of rightness settle over her. The path forward wasn't about revenge or even vindication. It was about creating the kind of workplace she had always believed possible, where talent and integrity mattered more than appearances or connections. Later that evening, as Olivia packed up her things, she found Jenna waiting by the elevator. "So, you're really staying?" Jenna asked as they descended to the lobby.
"Even after everything?"
"Sometimes," Olivia replied. "The greatest power comes not from walking away, but from changing the game entirely." Outside, the city lights glimmered against the darkening sky. Olivia paused on the sidewalk, looking up at the Blackridge logo illuminated at the top of the building. Once it had represented everything she struggled against. Now it held the promise of transformation, a transformation she would help shape. Her phone buzzed with a message from Priya. "Dinner to celebrate your decision? Whatever it is?" Olivia smiled and typed her reply. "Yes, and bring that bottle of champagne we've been saving. Tonight we celebrate new beginnings." As she slipped her phone back into her pocket, Olivia caught her reflection in a storefront window. She was still the same person who had sat quietly in her cubicle for 3 years, doing exceptional work without recognition. The difference was that now the world could see her too, and that made all the difference. Ripples of change. 6 months passed with the swift certainty of inevitability. Blackridge Capital's 42nd floor had been redesigned, both literally and figuratively. Gone were the isolated cubicles, replaced by a thoughtful blend of collaborative spaces and private work areas. The change in physical environment reflected the deeper transformation occurring within the company culture. Olivia stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows of her corner office, formerly Vincent's, watching snow begin to fall over the city. The board had confirmed her appointment as CFO 3 months ago, making her the youngest person and first woman to hold the position in the firm's history. A knock at her door pulled her from her thoughts. "The Morgan presentation is ready for your review," Vincent said, entering with a tablet in hand. The months had softened the sharp edges of his demeanor, replacing his former arrogance with a more thoughtful confidence. "Thank you." Olivia took the tablet, scanning the figures quickly. "These projections seem conservative." Deliberately so, Vincent confirmed. After your approach with the Westfield account, I thought it better to underpromise and overdeliver. Olivia nodded approvingly. Good call. Speaking of Westfield, how's the new analyst working out? Danielle, right? Remarkably well, Vincent replied. She reminds me of you, actually. Quiet, observant, with a mind like a steel trap. Except she won't have to wait 3 years to be recognized, Olivia noted with a pointed smile. Vincent accepted this with a rueful nod. No, she won't. None of them will, thanks to you. Their working relationship had evolved into something neither could have predicted, a partnership based on complementary strengths. Vincent's network and client relationships paired with Olivia's analytical brilliance and strategic vision had created a powerful combination that was transforming Blackridge's reputation in the industry. The board meeting is at 3, Olivia reminded him, returning the tablet. I'd like you to present the diversity initiative results. It was your implementation plan that made it successful. Vincent looked surprised. You're sure? It's your program. And your execution, she said firmly. Credit where it's due, Vincent. As he left to prepare, Olivia's assistant Marcus appeared with a coffee and a small stack of messages. Julian Moretti called again, he informed her. He says he has an interesting proposition regarding sustainable investing in developing markets. Olivia smiled. Despite declining his job offer, she had maintained a strong professional relationship with Moretti. Schedule a lunch next week. And what about the Yale speaking engagement? All confirmed. They're particularly interested in your journey from analyst to CFO and the changes you've implemented here. Thank you, Marcus. Left alone, Olivia allowed herself a moment of reflection. The journey had indeed been remarkable. Not just her professional advancement, but the cultural shift she'd managed to initiate at Blackridge. The firm's hiring practices now actively sought diverse talent. Promotion criteria had been standardized to eliminate bias, and a mentorship program paired promising analysts with senior leaders. Not everyone had embraced the changes. Several partners had resisted, including Natalie's father, who had eventually retired rather than adapt. Natalie herself had transferred to the London office, putting an ocean between herself and the reminders of her misjudgment. Olivia's phone chimed with a message from Priya. Lunch today to plan the foundation launch? Donor list growing. The Mercer Foundation for Financial Education had been Priya's idea, a way to address the systemic barriers Olivia had faced throughout her career. Using a portion of her considerably increased salary, Olivia had established the foundation to provide financial literacy programs and mentorship for young women from disadvantaged backgrounds. She was typing her reply when Thomas Reed appeared at her door, looking unusually serious. Do you have a minute? He asked. Of course. She gestured to the chairs by the window. Is everything all right? Thomas settled himself, clearly uncomfortable. The Asia-Pacific expansion team has hit a roadblock with the regulatory authorities in Singapore. The local connections we were counting on haven't materialized. Olivia considered this. The Asia-Pacific initiative was crucial to Blackridge's 5-year growth strategy. What do we need? Someone with established relationships in the Singapore financial community, Thomas explained. Without that, we're looking at months of delays, possibly having to scrap the entire project. Olivia was silent for a moment, an idea forming. I may know someone who can help. Really? Who? Esther Wong, Olivia said. She was in my graduate program at Columbia. Brilliant financial strategist, currently wasted at a mid-level position with First Continental. Thomas looked skeptical. If she's so brilliant, why is she stuck in a mid-level position? Olivia gave him a pointed look. Why do you think, Thomas? Understanding dawned on his face. Like you were. Exactly. And she has family connections throughout Singapore's business community. Her father sits on their monetary authority board. Can you reach out to her today? Thomas asked, urgency in his voice. I already have, Olivia revealed. I've been having lunch with her every month for the past year, just as I did with Julian Moretti while I was an analyst here. Thomas laughed, shaking his head in admiration. Always 3 steps ahead, aren't you? Not always, Olivia admitted, but I've learned to recognize talent being overlooked. It creates remarkable loyalty when you're the only one who sees someone's true value. After Thomas left, Olivia sent a quick message to Esther Wong. Time to discuss that opportunity. Dinner tonight? The response came almost immediately. Finally. Yes, the usual place? Smiling, Olivia confirmed the arrangement. Another piece of her vision falling into place, not just reshaping Blackridge, but creating pathways for others who had been sidelined despite their abilities. The afternoon board meeting proceeded smoothly, with Vincent's presentation on the diversity initiative drawing particular praise. The numbers were undeniable. The new approach had improved both recruitment success and retention rates while bringing fresh perspectives that had directly contributed to client satisfaction. As the meeting concluded, Robert Blackridge asked Olivia to remain behind. "Remarkable turnaround," the CEO commented when they were alone. "6 months ago I was concerned we were losing our edge. Now we're setting industry standards." "Thank you, but it's been a team effort," Olivia replied. "Indeed. Particularly interesting to see the change in Vincent Harrington." Blackridge studied her curiously. "Many people in your position would have pushed him out." Olivia considered this. "Revenge is satisfying but ultimately unproductive. Vincent has valuable skills and connections. Why waste that potential when it can be redirected?" "Pragmatic," Blackridge nodded approvingly. "And speaking of pragmatism, the board has approved your proposal for the executive training program. Full funding, effective immediately." This was the final piece of Olivia's strategy, a program designed to identify and nurture talent from non-traditional backgrounds, preparing them for leadership roles within Blackridge and the wider financial industry. "That's excellent news," she said, genuine pleasure in her voice. "We can begin the first cohort next quarter." As she left the boardroom, Olivia passed the wall of previous Blackridge CFOs, all men, all from similar backgrounds with similar expressions of stern authority. Soon her portrait would join them, breaking the pattern that had persisted for over a decade. That evening, as Olivia sat across from Esther Wong in a quiet restaurant, she felt a sense of completion. The circle was closing, with her now in a position to offer the recognition and opportunity that had been withheld from her for so long. "So," Esther said after hearing Olivia's proposal, "you want me to head the entire Asia-Pacific expansion? Not just the Singapore office?" "Yes," Olivia confirmed, "with a seat on the executive committee and full autonomy to build your team." Esther studied her thoughtfully. "This is because of what happened to you, isn't it? You're trying to spare others the same experience." "Partly," Olivia admitted, "but primarily because you're the best person for the job. I'm just making sure you don't have to wait 3 years for someone to notice. And if I accept, what changes do you expect me to make?" "Whatever changes you believe are necessary," Olivia replied. "That's the point. I'm not looking for someone to maintain the status quo. I'm looking for someone to challenge it, improve it, make it work better for everyone." Esther smiled slowly. "In that case, I accept." Later, as Olivia walked home through the gently falling snow, she thought about the transformation of the past 6 months, not just at Blackridge, but within herself. The quiet analyst who had accepted invisibility was gone, replaced by a leader who understood that true power came from elevating others, not diminishing them. Her phone buzzed with a message from Vincent. "Morgan presentation approved. Client delighted. Dinner tomorrow to discuss next steps?" Such a simple exchange, yet it represented a complete inversion of their former dynamic. Not a victory over Vincent, but a transformation of the system they both operated within. Olivia typed her reply. "Yes, the new Italian place on 8th?" And continued walking, each step carrying her further into the future she was deliberately crafting, not just for herself, but for all those who would follow. Full circle 1 year to the day after the gala that had changed everything. Blackridge Capital's annual anniversary celebration. Returned to the Westbrook Hotel, the event had been reimagined under Olivia's guidance. Less an exercise in exclusivity and more a genuine celebration of the firm's achievements and the people behind them. Olivia arrived early, overseeing final arrangements with the event coordinator. Her navy gown was elegant but understated, her confidence no longer needing external validation. "Everything looks perfect," Vincent commented, joining her by the entrance, "especially the seating arrangements." The traditional hierarchy of tables had been abandoned. Instead, teams were seated together regardless of rank, with clients interspersed throughout, a physical manifestation of the collaborative culture Olivia had fostered. "Let's hope the board agrees," she replied, though her smile suggested little concern. The results of the past year spoke for themselves. Blackridge had posted record profits, Client satisfaction had reached an all-time high, and industry publications had taken note of the firm's transformation. Just last week, Financial Times had featured Olivia in a profile titled, "Redefining Leadership: How Olivia Mercer Changed the Game at Blackridge Capital." "They'll agree," Vincent assured her. "Even Henderson has come around and he fought the diversity initiative hardest." Speaking of which, Olivia nodded toward the entrance where Danielle, the analyst Vincent had mentioned months earlier, was arriving with her team. No longer isolated in back-office roles, the analysts had become integral to client relationships, their expertise recognized and rewarded. As guests began to fill the ballroom, Olivia circulated easily, greeting clients and colleagues with genuine warmth. The awkwardness that had marked her first appearance in this setting was gone, replaced by the natural confidence of someone who had found her rightful place. "Quite a different atmosphere from last year," observed Julian Moretti, appearing at her side with 2 glasses of champagne. He handed one to her with a knowing smile. "Indeed," Olivia agreed, accepting the glass. "Though I believe I have you to thank for accelerating certain changes." Moretti laughed. "I merely provided the catalyst. The reaction was already prepared. It simply needed the right conditions to begin." They were joined by Esther Wong, who had flown in from Singapore specifically for the event. In the 6 months since taking over the Asia-Pacific expansion, she had exceeded all projections, opening doors that had previously seemed permanently closed to Blackridge. "The Tokyo office is confirmed," Esther announced without preamble. "We sign the lease next week." Olivia raised her glass. "Excellent work. That's months ahead of schedule." "I had good leverage," Esther replied with a sly smile. "It seems your reputation has spread. Being associated with the Mercer method carries weight in certain circles." "The Mercer method?" Olivia echoed, raising an eyebrow. "That's what they're calling your approach in the industry," Julian explained. "Talent recognition regardless of background, collaborative leadership, ethical investing practices. It's becoming something of a movement." Before Olivia could respond, Robert Blackridge called for attention, tapping his glass as he took position at the center of the room. "Welcome to Blackridge Capital's 11th anniversary celebration," he began. "As many of you know, this past year has been one of significant transformation for our firm." He gestured toward Olivia. "Under the leadership of our CFO, Olivia Mercer, Blackridge has not only achieved unprecedented financial success, but has pioneered a new approach to how financial services firms operate. We've discovered that diversity of thought, background, and perspective isn't just the right thing to do, it's good business." Applause rippled through the room. "Tonight," Blackridge continued, "I'm pleased to announce 2 major developments. First, the Blackridge Foundation for Financial Inclusion will launch next month with an initial endowment of $50 million, supporting financial literacy and access for underserved communities globally." This announcement drew stronger applause, particularly from the younger staff members who had championed the initiative. Second, Blackridge paused, his gaze finding Olivia, effective immediately. "I will be stepping into the role of chairman, while Olivia Mercer will assume the position of Chief Executive Officer of Blackridge Capital." A moment of stunned silence was followed by thunderous applause. Vincent was the first on his feet, his genuine pride in her achievement evident in his face. Around the room, others followed: Esther, Danielle, the entire analyst team, and finally Julian Moretti, whose knowing smile suggested he had been aware of the announcement beforehand. As Olivia made her way to the center of the room, she caught sight of a familiar face near the back, Natalie Pierce, recently returned from London. Their eyes met briefly, Natalie's expression unreadable before she offered a small, acknowledging nod, taking her place beside Blackridge. Olivia surveyed the room, the diverse faces, the energy, the sense of possibility that had replaced the stifling hierarchy of the past. "Thank you, Robert, and thank you all," she began. "A year ago, I stood in this room as someone many of you didn't know or notice. Today, I stand here not because of any particular brilliance on my part, but because someone finally bothered to look." She paused, gathering her thoughts. "The greatest waste in business isn't financial, it's human potential left unrecognized and undeveloped. At Blackridge, we've begun to correct that oversight, and the results speak for themselves." Olivia gestured to the tables around her. "Look around you. The future of finance isn't about exclusive access or artificial barriers. It's about identifying talent wherever it exists and creating the conditions for that talent to flourish. Her gaze found Vincent, then Esther, then Danielle, 3 points in a constellation of change. As CEO, my commitment is to continue building a firm where excellence is the only criterion that matters. Not background, not connections, not conformity to outdated expectations. The Blackridge of tomorrow will be defined not by who we exclude, but by who we include and how we empower them to succeed. The applause that followed her words continued long after she had finished speaking, a wave of energy that seemed to wash away the last vestiges of the old Blackridge. Later, as the evening wound down, Olivia found herself momentarily alone near the same spot where, a year earlier, she had first encountered Julian Moretti. The memory brought a smile to her face, that moment of recognition that had catalyzed everything that followed. "Penny for your thoughts," Vincent said, joining her with 2 glasses of water. "Just reflecting on how much can change in a year," she replied, accepting one of the glasses. "Did you know about the CEO announcement?" "I suspected," Vincent admitted. "Robert asked for my input last month. I told him it was the best decision he could make for the firm's future." Olivia studied him curiously. "You've changed, Vincent. A year ago you would have fought for that position. A year ago I wouldn't have deserved it," he replied simply, "and wouldn't have been very good at it. You will be." Across the room, Olivia saw Priya had arrived, invited as Olivia's guest and potential partner for the new foundation. Beside her, Danielle was animatedly explaining something to Julian Moretti, who was listening with genuine interest. "What do you think?" Vincent asked, following her gaze. "Did we create the change we wanted to see?" "We've started," Olivia corrected gently. "Real change isn't an event, it's a process, one that never really ends." As if to emphasize her point, the doors opened to admit a group of university students, participants in Blackridge's new mentorship program, invited to experience the firm's culture firsthand. Among them, Olivia recognized faces from backgrounds similar to her own, talent that might once have been overlooked, now being actively cultivated. "Speaking of process," Vincent said, "there's something I've been meaning to ask you. The London office director position is yours if you want it," Olivia finished for him. "You've earned it, Vincent." He looked surprised. "Even after everything?" "Especially after everything," she replied. "You've proven you can learn, adapt, and support others' success. Those are the qualities we need in leadership now." Vincent considered this, then raised his glass in a toast. "To the future, then, and to the CEO who will shape it." Olivia touched her glass to his. "To the future, and to those who will find their place in it, whether they arrive in silence or make a grand entrance." As the evening drew to a close, Olivia stood once more by the entrance where she had made her transformative appearance a year before. The ballroom was emptying, staff beginning the process of clearing away the evening's celebration. This time, however, she wasn't standing alone. Around her gathered the various threads of the tapestry she had helped weave. Priya, Esther, Vincent, Danielle, the students, the analysts, the new faces and the old, all part of something larger than any individual ambition. She thought back to that moment of decision in her small apartment, when Priya had convinced her to attend the gala that would change everything. The courage hadn't come from the dress or the jewelry, or even the knowledge of her connection to Julian Moretti. It had come from the simple decision to be fully herself in a world that had tried to make her invisible. As they walked together toward the exit, Olivia caught her reflection in one of the ballroom's ornate mirrors, no longer the overlooked analyst or even the Sue,